You're listening to the Uprise Astrology Podcast, a podcast that inspires the present-day visionary to rise to their best life. My name is Island Sky, and I'm an astrologer and numerologist. I'm best known for cutting right through the noise and bringing the most important messages to you. Welcome to your horoscope, Cancer rising and Cancer sun signs. We are going to dive right in. We have a lot to cover. The first week is sort of starting out with a lot of building into the full moon lunar eclipse. We're in eclipse season. So there is a fixed T-square in a fixed sign or fixed sign T-square that is happening for you guys that is bringing up the subject of fulfillment. It is happening in your fifth house, happiness, the things that you really love, the stuff that you vibe with. And it is taking a look at how that really impacts your association and the people that you are associating with, or your social reputation, or even friends at this time. There are changes that are happening that are definitely disrupting business as usual, kind of maybe even getting in the way of you pursuing things that you really love doing, or even your romantic life, or something that is changing with your children. Sometimes the fifth house has to do with children as well. And this also then brings up the subject of where you need to become stronger, because that T square is taking a look at Saturn. Saturn is an Aquarius in your eighth house. This is your commitment. This is basically your strength of you realizing, okay, right now there are tough situations that I am going through that are teaching me a lot about what, makes me function well, what doesn't. And you are reorganizing this aspect of your life. You're reorganizing anything that has to do with your romantic life, even sex life. There is a lot of changes that could be happening here in the background that you're working on, taxes even. This house has a lot to do with everything that's happening behind the scenes and your most connected, most committed self with another person. And sometimes this involves money. And so there's a lot of pressure here to figure out how you can move forward, how you can really create more fulfillment. But a lot of it has to do with using the way in which you're associating with groups. Perhaps there is an ending that's coming to certain friendships or certain associations, and you're just kind of done with that group of people. And so what happens here is that you start to gain some clarity around it. You are finding out maybe more information. 14 degrees, that is where the Sun and Mercury cresimi is going to happen. When the Sun and Mercury come together in an exact degree, it is a moment of clarity. It's a moment where we are diving into much needed clarity. And at 14 degrees, it has to do with you putting together information that was either missing or something that is clicking now. It's making sense. And you are starting to dive more deeper into conversations that have to do with issues, able to deal with them more directly, because the Sun Mercury cresimi encourages us, gives us sort of a nice boost. Go at any issues directly, head on. And this will involve protection. This will involve in how you need to protect what it is that you absolutely love doing right now. Any kind of plans romantically, anything that you're involved in as far as with children, this will involve protection around it, and it will involve the future. You have to kind of take a look at it. There might be some situations right now that you cannot trust based on some groups, some friends, or some kind of social reputation reframing that needs to happen, a new value that you have to kind of create because of the situation that feels like it's coming to a head right now, and you need to really speak up. You need to expose this for yourself. You need to dive a little bit more into its fulfillment in your life, and what do you want to focus on, and where do you have to become more sort of strong around putting those boundaries down. This will be the conversation that you're diving further into during that first week, from the 7th, or the second week of November, from the 7th until the 13th. And so the full moon lunar eclipse is bringing up anything now that is a limitation to the themes I just mentioned. You might feel like there's people that are limiting you and you're done with the situation. It is a limit that is now a limit of the past. That is sort of like the message of this lunar eclipse. You have to trust yourself. You need to go up against the situations that might even come up unexpectedly, more unfoldments with other people that feel like you're now determined. There is a determination that is sort of born that is leading you into you putting your foot down, you just saying, I can't really be part of all of this. This is not what I am looking to, be associated with. Or you might be just simply switching sort of friends, or you might be letting go of the idea that your life and the association to your long-term goals with specific groups had to be only this way. So there's a hard stop here. You're putting boundaries down. You're bringing a new determination into your life so that you can protect the things that you love. If it involves children, it'll be the plans that you have with your children. And so it's a defining moment. It's a defining moment where you realize that you are trusting yourself actually a lot more than what you realized. Now, there is a heated conversation, though, that is still unfolding during this week. And this will have to do with you once again coming up against people here that may go against what it is that you're choosing, or there is some kind of scattered energy during this 24-hour period. So November 9th, there is Mercury in your fifth house having this exact opposition at 16 degrees in your 11th house. And this will have a lot to do with what you feel like you can really open up to and what you don't feel comfortable opening up to. It has to do with your comfort levels at this point. But during this day, just expect some scattered energy. You might feel annoyed. You might feel like everybody is kind of just annoying and just not doing or saying what they should be saying so that you gain some clarity out of the conversation. There could be a lot of sort of this back and forth going on, but it's really, really best in the 24-hour period here to focus on the new things that you're creating and focus on moving forward, moving things forward so that you don't stay stuck in an energy that just keeps you scattered. All right, moving on to November 10th through the 15th. And by the way, if you're live with me here in the chat, drop a comment from where you're tuning in from. I love hearing from you guys. So November 10th through the 15th, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, still in your fifth house, is going to trine to Neptune in your ninth house. So this is going to be a really nice energy that is coming in from that second week into the third week, where you might find that you are now freer than you realized because of some of the things that are heating up and kind of building, and you just releasing some tension with groups, with friends, with the things that you are really wanting to protect in your life. And so now there's a beautiful new sort of energy that comes in that gives you hope for the future, but there's also either an aim or some kind of travel that is associated that comes up. You might be booking that vacation with your loved ones. You might just say to yourself, now is the time. If not now, then when? There's sort of a hope that starts to return back because creating sort of a much more free version of yourself. That's sort of how I'm interpreting this for you guys. It's also a really nice energy for you to deepen your connection to the things in your life that strengthen your belief, or the methodologies you might have at this time, some kind of philosophy, some kind of way of thinking that allows for you to recover, to regenerate. Again, there might be travel plans involved with this, or you simply are just signing up for the first time for something that you absolutely would love to do, for that training that you would love to dive into, for that methodology that you would love to learn about. And so you're making it happen. That is what this trine and the power of the trine here is pushing you to kind of expand your horizon. Okay. So 22 is definitely a number of change. There is a shift that is happening. So you can definitely count on that. And that is the intent of the stars. Now, November 15th through the 16th, the conversation starts to expand because Venus and Mercury are going to come into a trine with Jupiter. So there's a lot of future conversations that are happening. This can involve, again, your children. It can involve some kind of new courses, travel plans, and you just simply expanding your horizon or really working with people that are so different than you. There might be very important relationships that are helping you now to to go much closer towards the things in your life that you didn't think that were possible, and maybe even felt unreasonable at some point. Like if you thought about this certain goal, achieving it, you're like, I don't know if I can make this happen. And much of 2022 may have been building up to this very moment here. And so there's a very important conversation that is starting to unfold. And you could just be in a very productive energy with relationships now, where you realize that, we can do this. This is the kind of type of energy you could be looking at. And so this is more of an energy, I think, where you begin to realize that there is an appreciation for your life that starts to come in, but also an appreciation for maybe a very particular person that you might be dating, or your children, or that connection to your children, or the fifth house. Again, it can have to do just with fulfillment, something that is making you feel so fulfilled because signed up for the course, you're going for this training, you are going on this particular vacation, and it is a sense of fulfillment that comes back. And so it's a really nice energy. November 16th and 17th, Venus and Mercury finally leave your fifth house, and they transition from your fifth house of fulfillment into your sixth house. This is going to be all about your health, your day-to-day responsibilities, your lifestyle. And so this is a really nice energy because you're going to start to focus a lot more on your health. You're going to start to focus on really taking care of yourself. I think a lot of you are going to be in this place where you realize, you've put a lot of work in now. This pressure is starting to ease off a little bit from the eclipse, and you begin to just focus on yourself and reorganizing your life. And so really nice, fresh energy that comes through. And November 16th through the 22nd, I do want to talk about this Mars Neptune square. This Mars Neptune square, let's talk about this, okay? Because it's going on in the background for since October. We talked about it in the last horoscope. Now, Mars is in your 12th house, and it is going to form that square exact again to Neptune in your ninth house. But what's different this time is that Mars is retrograding. And so what is this about? Mars Neptune squares, they can be very gnarly, and they can bring sort of an energy here where someone is trying to push your buttons, or somebody is trying to bring an old subject back, or there's sort of this feeling of an old subject or old that you thought you were done with, but it kind of shows back up. And for you guys, this will have to do with your spirituality. It'll have to do with a situation where you felt like you couldn't take action, or you couldn't take the kind of action that would have made a difference. And it deals with someone that is so different from you, perhaps from a completely different, background than you, a different culture, a different mindset. And so this, kind of energy comes back, and you could be kind of asking yourself why you're back in this picture now. That's scenario one. Another thing that could happen here is that you could just be in this place where, for a brief moment, as you are creating a new future goal, and creating and cutting some old friends or some kind of situations out of your life that no longer are good for you, there could be a moment here where you're questioning, like, what with my life? This is this direction? Is this the direction that I want to take my life? There could be some kind of a doubt that could come up. But again, this is all just to strengthen your faith in the things you are, focusing on at this time. This is the kind of square, I think, that allows for us to move beyond anything that feels, just kind of fuzzy, or it feels deceitful. Okay. There could be some kind of deceitful energy. Many of you could also be dealing with a situation here. Again, these are all different scenarios that could play out. This is a general reading, right? So it's going to be different for many of you. There could be a situation that involves a specific relationship that also involves some kind of addiction. and that relationship dynamic doesn't feel good, or that relationship dynamic feels like, I my energy back even more so. I need to put more boundaries down. I need to figure out how to actually move beyond this situation, but you need to pull your energy back. And perhaps this is a time for you to reflect on how to do it. So these are the types of energies to pay attention to with this Mars Neptune square. It's a really interesting one, you guys. So pay attention to this energy. Now, the other thing that is really beautiful happening this month in the midst of all this, like, kind of yin and yang kind of, energy that we're experiencing to an extreme, November 19th through the 30th, Venus and Mercury are going to now travel together in your sixth house in a tight conjunction. So they're going to be conjuncting in exact degrees over the course of all of these days. They start together right around 4 degrees, moving up to 20 until they start to separate a bit more. And so for you guys, this is going to be a really nice energy where you're becoming a lot softer with yourself. You're becoming nicer to yourself. It feels like maybe that you've had to put a lot of your armor up because of the tension of this eclipse, because of dealing with other people. And so now you're able to kind of be softer with yourself. You're able to kind of come to a point where you can kind of start to, let go of certain, pressures, and you're focusing, doing more nice things for yourself. This is a really good energy for that. And also, this is a good energy for increasing productivity. Anything that needs organization, anything that needs sort of like a decluttering, anything that requires for you to make the necessary lifestyle changes, focusing on your diet, focusing on getting some more of a solid foundation and how to protect your health, your lifestyle. This is going to be a really good time to start to negotiate what your non-negotiables are in your lifestyle realm and with yourself. So really nice energy. The other thing I want to mention here real quick, and I love this, Sun and Jupiter are going to be in a conjunction at 28. This will have to do with your heart, what you love. This will have to do with your loved ones, with your children, or in general, just your purpose. Think future growth. Think of a time where, if you didn't have maybe certain things that are in the way right now, or some things that you're trying to even strengthen in your life, if there was nothing in the way, how would it be? Holding that vision and really coming to a place where you can kind of mark this vision on this day so you can expand it starting from this day moving forward. It will have a long-term effect. Focusing on this during this 24-hour period is going to be huge. It's a really nice energy. But also with this particular Sun Jupiter conjunction, because it is at 28, 28 is a number that has to do with massive manifestation. So, finances, anything you're trying to manifest in the feeling and also in the material sense, but mostly in the material sense. Okay. If there's something that you're trying to really create here in your life, like, this will be a really nice energy to focus your mind on, to focus on to have your heart on, because it's going to give you the necessary sort of boost in order to bring this into your life, or to have something fresh might be even coming in during this day. Now, before I move on, I want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Island Sky. I'm an astrologer and numerologist. I focus on forecasts on my channel, and I give you, during these forecasts, during these horoscopes, I focus on just every week, what are the most important transits? How is this going to play out based for your sign? And it kind of helps you to prepare for the future. I know many of you like this style of, forecasting. So if you are here new and you like this, then let's hang out. Subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so that you don't miss these horoscopes and other things that I talk about that are astrology related or spiritual topics, anything like that. If you like this on this channel, let's hang out. Be a part of the Astrology Podcast fam for being here. All right, November 22nd through the 23rd, Jupiter is in your ninth house now, house of philosophy, the house of just you feeling more free and expanding your horizon, right? This is where Jupiter is at. Jupiter has been expanding your horizon quite literally. It does really well in this house. It is going to move direct now. So any kind of project that you've been working on, any travel plans you've been working on, anything that might come in now that is a travel plan kind of blows you away, because Jupiter starts to move direct, and there's many blessings that come with that. There's a really good, nice energy for you to focus on, seeing what you realizing something or seeing something about yourself that you are now for the first time realizing is so important to me. This is the true version of me. This is the true thing in my life that I really want to focus on. And so it's a nice boost and a nice energy, a new direction in my, or again, that, travel plan that you may have had that is now really becoming a reality. It's amazing energy here. So then on the same kind of 24 to 48-hour period, the sun moves out of your fifth house, leaving your romance, leaving, your fulfillment house, moving into your lifestyle house. And again, you're just beginning now to focus on yourself, moving away from any drama, moving more towards the things that you're trying to create to strengthen your lifestyle. There's going to be a really nice boost in energy as well. And you'll notice that shift within that particular time frame mentioned. And then another thing that is so nice towards the end of the month is November 26th through the 30th, Mars is in your 12th house, the house of spirituality and faith. It's forming a trine to Saturn in your eighth house. This is the house of commitment. This is the house of intimacy. So there is a strengthening and a bond that you are going to really create here between you and another person. It can also have to do with you, maybe even based on your kind of change in faith or a change in the meaning of your life is leading now to a different investment in the background or something that you're wanting to invest into, build or build on financially. So you're maybe shifting something around that's important financially for you, or during this time, you feel a lot more responsible to understand the responsibilities and the commitments that you have to certain aspects of your life that require more attention, but they require also some level of nurture. And you're having a mindset shift. And as a result, you're going to start to reorganize this section of your life. And it has to do with you just feeling like you want to take this on now. So there could be some changes in the background with money, commitment, with taxes, even. Okay, this could involve money like that in that kind of a sense, or it could involve some kind of shared resource between you and another person, some kind of inheritance, even. So this is a really nice energy. There's an action that you're taking here based on you just changing your mind and what you want to do moving forward and how you want to commit, and maybe something that you feel now very able to because of all the shifts that are happening during this month. So there is a little bit of a kind of challenging energy while you are creating this kind of a change. There is this Mercury Mars opposition. Now, Mercury is going to be in your sixth house, Mars is in your 12th house. These houses have a lot to do with the impacts on our lifestyle and why we're living a certain lifestyle. It's all based on what our faith is, what our spirituality is. How do we move through the day to day from the moment we wake up until we go to bed? Like, what are some of the things that fill us during that time? The organizational pieces. Now, there is an opposition because Mercury here is basically going to keep you busy with a conversation to be had where you feel like something gets in the way. And what gets in the way might be just even your mental capacity. How much responsibility can you take on? How much can you actually handle? There could be some kind of challenge like this that comes up. And because the sixth house deals with, organizational pieces, so things you might be, organizing, things you might be doing, decluttering, anything around the house, for example, definitely pay attention to any kind of hot or sharp objects time you want to stay away from or handle it with caution during this time. Some Mercury and Mars is involved like that. We could just be, you know, we could just be a little bit scattered. And so you want to pay attention to that. Now, the other thing here is also that something might be happening in the lifestyle change it's a little bit of a challenge because you're trying to change something about your health or trying to figure out some piece of information, and there's some kind of belief that is being challenged here, and you can't take the kind of action you thought, or something turns out different. But it all is to help you to understand what you need to negotiate about your non-negotiables when it comes to your health, when it comes to your lifestyle, and making you as a result stronger. Okay, so these are the things that I'm seeing here in that 24-hour period. So focus on all of that, what we just discussed, kind of allow for yourself to just stay open so that you don't get caught up in just the wrong kind of, idea about your health or something like that. I think sometimes when Mars is involved in the 12th house, it can feel like we can't take the kind of action that we want to take, but there is a very specific purpose for that. And so for you guys, Mars in the 12th house, it's all about you really paying attention to making smarter moves towards your health and life maybe that you are going to be inspired to create. Now, that is what I'm seeing for all my Cancer friends for the month of November. I hope that you liked this horoscope. Let me know how this month is unfolding for you. I always love hearing from you guys. Leave me a comment below, and I am going to see you back here in the next horoscope. Thank you so much for hanging out. See you soon.